Thank you so much for attending my presentation about why you should never give up, the story of competitive Weezing, and first let's talk about it in the early gens. Weezing's start was rough to say the least. As a basic mono poison type with nothing to set it apart, its struggles were predictable. Gen 1 is a mess as it finds itself in ZU. There it's pretty solid, having a plethora of coverage like Thunderbolt and Fire Blast while threatening absurdly powerful explosions. It would get better down the line in GSE where it not only jumped up to never use but is a staple in the tier. Weezing got a ton of new moveset options, both offensive with the 90 base power Sludge Bomb and defensive with haste to stop sweepers. It even has semi-reliable forms of recovery with Leftovers and Pain Split taking advantage of its low base HP. Somehow the poison typing comes in clutch, giving it defensive merit as a primate counter, one of the best offensive pokes around. While this success is awesome, it doesn't exactly bode well for the future. Of all Gen 1 Pokemon to end up in ZU, just 4 have made it to C high tier results, and even in below underused GSC, the number only grows to 6. This could have very well been it for Weezing, but then everything came together in ADV and it saw real OU viability. There were 2 huge additions to its toolkit that let it serve a real purpose. First is Will-O-Wisp, which cuts the target's attack in half for the rest of the battle while dealing chip each turn, with Gen 3's monster physical attackers Tyranitar, Salamence, and Metagross being able to slash their damage output is a massive deal. This is bolstered by a great defense stat of 120 and solid resistances, checking the likes of Heracross and Machamp. The introduction of abilities was also huge as Weezing got Levitate, completely ignoring ground moves and spikes. There are some problems though. Specifically, it's super outclassed by Gengar as a Wisp user. With both having Willow, Explosion, Levitate, and great coverage, the Poison Gas Pokemon struggles to find a niche. Weezing is tough to fit on teams as using it over the Ghost requires a very specific set of circumstances, but when the stars align, it can be a huge part of amazing teams as a defensive backbone. It's nothing crazy, but going from ZU to NU to UUBL with overused viability is absolutely fantastic. After this success, Weezing would begin a slow descent throughout the singles tiering run. Let's start in Gen 4 where it's lost pretty much all of its utility in OU. While outclassed by physical walls there, it became a solid piece of DPP underused. Defensively, it's still amazing, maintaining its stranglehold over physical fighting types, and of course can always click a coverage move or boom to threaten the tier top Pokemon like Venusaur and Clefable. Weezing once again found a home it never used during Gen 5, but would actually stay there throughout Alola. At this point, we already know what it does, but there were a few changes. For one, it lost the ability to viably run Explosion after its nerf in Gen 5. On the more positive side, Weezing got other options to help its team with Taunt and Memento, but the biggest addition was likely Toxic Spikes. Getting off poisons on switch-in is a big deal, and with how many things Weezing forces out, that can be a giant pain in the ass. In Gen 8, and especially Gen 9, things weren't so hot. It would fall to PU in the former, and then finally back down to ZU in the power-crept Paldea region. Its time in OU, or anything close, was done. At this point, even die-hard Weezing believers were not confident about its future results. With nothing separating itself from other poison types, how could it find a place in higher tiers? In Gen 8, Game Freak blessed it with one of the most unique abilities ever made, Neutralizing Gas. This ability turns off all other abilities with only a few exceptions, giving it life in VGC. There's a whole lot of doubles Pokemon that rely on their abilities to be good. Intimidate Pokemon, for example, lose the supportive capabilities that they're run for. Prankster users like Grimmsnarl and Whimsicott are completely shut down, not being able to set screens, Tailwind, or even use Trick quickly. But the best use case was alongside another long dormant Pokemon, Regigigas. Getting rid of Slow Start was the best thing that ever happened to it, and with Dynamax's help, it dished out absurd damage with Max Strike. This offensive duo, which was piloted by David Carrere, reached second place at the Players' Cup 2, a massive official tournament with over 1,000 entrants. Remember how I said that there are exceptions to what gets negated by neutralizing gas? Photosynthesis is one of those, and alongside either Booster Attack or Booster Speed Roaring Moon, it saw a variety of regional placements during Gen 9. In fact, this strategy was patched out of the game. While Game Freak says that the mechanic was unintentional, I like to think that they knew they had made Weezing too powerful. In conclusion, at first I tried to fit some sort of huge overarching moral into this, but it was really cheesy and didn't work very well. Thus, I'm just going to repeat what I said in the title. Never give up? Hell yeah. Thank you so much for watching.